The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Galactic Archaeological Survey ship, the Star Seeker. Its sleek, silver hull gleamed in the light of a distant star as it slowly approached an uncharted asteroid field. On board, a team of diverse alien species worked together, their eyes glued to screens and instruments. Dr. Zixlor, the lead archaeologist, ran his tentacles over his head crest in excitement. His large, multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly as he studied the readouts. "Captain Grun, I think we found something extraordinary," he clicked in his native tongue, which the ship's universal translator quickly converted for the others. Captain Grun, a towering, furry being with 4 arms, lumbered over to Zixlor's station. "What is it, Doctor?" "Another space rock with interesting minerals." His voice was gruff, but tinged with curiosity. Zixlor's skin rippled with barely contained enthusiasm. "No, Captain. It's a ship, an ancient one, and it's not alone." The bridge fell silent as the crew processed this information. Discoveries of ancient spacecraft were rare and always exciting. Captain Grun leaned in closer, his fur bristling. "Show me," he ordered. With a few quick movements of his tentacles, Zixlor brought up a holographic display in the center of the bridge. The image showed a massive asteroid field, but among the rocks floated something else: ships. Dozens, perhaps hundreds of them. "By the cosmic egg," whispered Lyra, the ship's young pilot. Her antenna twitched in awe. "There's so many of them." Dr. Zixlor nodded, his head crest flaring with excitement. "Initial scans suggest they're thousands of years old. The designs are primitive by our standards. But the fact that they've survived this long in such harsh conditions is remarkable." Captain Grun stroked his chin thoughtfully. "Any signs of life or active systems?" "Negative, Captain," replied Tech, the robotic systems analyst. Its metallic voice echoed through the bridge. "All ships appear to be in a state of complete shutdown. No energy signatures detected." The captain nodded, then turned to his communications officer. "Send word to Galactic Central. Tell them we've discovered an ancient fleet and request permission to investigate further." As the message was sent, the crew of the Star Seeker could barely contain their excitement. They had stumbled upon a treasure trove of galactic history. Little did they know, their discovery would soon shake the foundations of the galaxy's understanding of its past and its future. Hours passed as the Star Seeker carefully maneuvered through the asteroid field. Up close, the ancient ships were even more impressive. Their hulls were pitted and scarred from millennia of drifting through space, but their overall structures remained intact. "Fascinating," murmured Dr. Zixlor as he studied the scans. "These ships show signs of weapons damage. It appears they were in some sort of battle before ending up here." Lyra, who had left her pilot's seat to join the others, peered at the holographic displays. But who were they fighting? And why? Before anyone could answer, a beep from the communications console caught their attention. The communications officer, a slender, blue-skinned being named Quix, turned to the captain. "Sir, we're receiving a response from Galactic Central." Captain Grun straightened his uniform. "Put it through." The holographic display flickered, and the image of the ships was replaced by the stern face of Admiral Vox, head of the Galactic Archaeological Council. Her scaled skin shimmered in the light of wherever she was transmitting from. "Captain Grun," she said, her voice crisp and authoritative. "We've reviewed your initial report. While the discovery of any ancient fleet is noteworthy, I must say the technological level you've described is underwhelming." Dr. Zixlor's head crest deflated slightly at these words. Captain Grun, however, remained stoic. "With all due respect, Admiral, we've only just begun our investigation. There could be much more to learn here." Admiral Vox waved a clawed hand dismissively. "Perhaps, but from what we can see, these ships are far too primitive to be of any significant scientific value. They're likely relics from some long-forgotten minor civilization." The crew of the Star Seeker exchanged disappointed glances. Their excitement was quickly being replaced by frustration. Nevertheless, continued Admiral Vox, you have permission to continue your investigation for the next solar cycle. Document what you can, then move on to your next assignment. Galactic Central out. As the transmission ended, a heavy silence fell over the bridge. Captain Grun turned to his dejected crew. Well, you heard the Admiral. We have work to do. Let's make the most of the time we have. Dr. Zixlor nodded, determination replacing his disappointment. Yes, Captain. There's still much to learn here, I'm sure of it. As the crew of the Star Seeker set about their tasks, none of them could have imagined the true significance of their discovery. The ancient fleet they had found, dismissed as primitive and unremarkable, would soon prove to be the key to the galaxy's survival. And the mysterious builders of these ships, a species known as humans, would challenge everything the galactic community thought they knew about civilization and technology. But for now, the fleet slumbered on, its secrets waiting to be uncovered by those curious and persistent enough to look beyond first impressions. The Star Seeker drifted silently among the ancient fleet, its crew working tirelessly to document their discovery before their time ran out. Despite Admiral Vox's dismissive attitude, Captain Grun had allowed his team to continue their investigation with enthusiasm. On the third day of their exploration, Lyra, the young pilot, found herself alone in one of the smaller scout ships they had boarded. She ran her slender fingers over the dusty control panel, marveling at the strange symbols etched into the metal. I wonder what you've seen, she whispered to the ship, her antenna twitching with curiosity. Suddenly, her hand brushed against a slightly raised section of the panel. There was a soft click, and to Lyra's astonishment, a dim light flickered to life beneath her fingers. Her heart's racing. Lyra tapped her communicator. Captain, Dr. Zixlor, I think I've found something. Within minutes, the small scout ship was crowded with the Star Seeker's senior crew. Dr. Zixlor's tentacles waved excitedly as he examined the faintly glowing panel. Extraordinary, he muttered. After all this time, there's still power in these systems. Captain Grun frowned, his fur bristling with concern. Is it safe? We don't know anything about this technology. Before anyone could respond, the light on the panel grew brighter. A soft hum filled the air, and suddenly, a holographic display flickered to life above the control panel. The crew gasped collectively as a figure appeared in the hologram. It was unlike any species they had ever seen. Bipedal with 2 arms, a round head, and a mouth full of flat teeth. Its skin seemed to be covered in some kind of protective suit. Then, to everyone's shock, the figure began to speak. Greetings, it said, its voice surprisingly clear despite the ages that had passed. I am the AI assistant of Scout Ship Delta 7, part of the Human Expeditionary Fleet. How may I assist you today? For a moment, no one moved or spoke. Then Dr. Zixlor, his voice trembling with excitement, addressed a hologram. Hello, we are researchers from the Galactic Archaeological Survey. Can you tell us more about your creators? The hologram smiled, an expression that seemed both familiar and alien to the watching crew. Certainly. My creators are humans, a species from the planet Earth. This fleet was built to explore the galaxy and establish peaceful contact with other intelligent life forms. Captain Grun stepped forward, his earlier caution replaced by burning curiosity. Humans? We've never heard of such a species. How long has this fleet been here? The AI's expression became thoughtful. My last recorded date indicates that approximately 50,000 galactic standard years have passed since this ship entered emergency stasis mode. The crew exchanged astonished looks. 50,000 years was an enormous span of time, even by galactic standards. For technology to survive that long and remain functional was unheard of. Dr. Zixlor's head crest flared with excitement. This is remarkable. The level of technology required to create an AI that can function after so long. It's far beyond anything we currently possess. Lyra, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. But if humans were so advanced, why haven't we encountered them before? Where are they now? The AI's hologram flickered slightly, its expression becoming solemn. I'm afraid I don't have that information. My last records indicate that the fleet was engaged in a battle with an unknown hostile force. Emergency protocols were activated, and the fleet was scattered. I have been in stasis since then, awaiting reactivation. Captain Grunn's fur stood on end. A battle. Against whom? Are they still out there? I do not have enough information to answer that question, the AI replied. However, I can access the ship's database and provide you with all available historical and technical data. Dr. Zixlor could barely contain his excitement. Yes, please. We would be most grateful for any information you can provide. As the AI began to transfer data to their systems, Tech, the robotic systems analyst, spoke up. Captain, the energy signature from this ship is growing stronger. I believe the reactivation process has begun a chain reaction. Other ships in the fleet are showing signs of powering up. Captain Grun nodded, his mind racing with the implications of their discovery. Send word to Galactic Central immediately. Tell them we've made contact with the remnants of an advanced civilization, one that might hold the key to technology beyond our current understanding. As the message was sent, the crew of the Star Seeker watched in awe as more and more ships in the ancient fleet began to show signs of life. Lights flickered on, and faint energy signatures began to pulse through the once dormant vessels. They had come seeking remnants of the past, but instead they had awakened a sleeping giant. The human fleet, long forgotten and dismissed as primitive, was stirring to life, and with it, the balance of power in the galaxy was about to shift in ways no one could have predicted. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything they thought they knew about their place in the universe. The news of the Star Seeker's discovery spread through the galaxy like wildfire. Within days, the once quiet asteroid field was buzzing with activity as ships from various alien factions arrived to witness the awakening of the ancient fleet. Dr. Zixlor stood at the viewport of the Star Seeker, his tentacles twitching with a mix of excitement and anxiety as he watched the newcomers arrive. Captain Grun approached, his furry brow furrowed with concern. It's becoming quite crowded out there, Grun growled softly. I hope Galactic Central sends some peacekeepers soon. Zixlor nodded. Indeed, but can you blame them for their curiosity? We've just uncovered proof of a highly advanced civilization that predates our own by millennia. Their conversation was interrupted by Lyra's excited voice over the intercom. Captain, Doctor, you need to see this. Moments later, they were gathered around a holographic display in the ship's main laboratory. Lyra and Tech had been working tirelessly to decode the data provided by the human eye. We've managed to access some of the historical records, Lyra explained, her antenna quivering with excitement. And, well, you should see for yourself. With a wave of her hand, she activated the hologram. A series of images flickered to life, showing bipedal creatures that matched the eye's description of humans. But what shocked the crew was the planet these humans inhabited. That's impossible, Captain Grun muttered, his eyes wide with disbelief. Dr. Zixlor leaned closer, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the holographic images. It can't be, but it is. That's Earth. Earth, the primitive backwater planet on the fringes of the galaxy. The planet that the galactic community had long ago designated as a protected zone, believing its inhabitants too primitive to make contact with. But how? Lyra asked, voicing the question on everyone's mind. The humans on Earth now are nowhere near this level of technology. They've barely left their own solar system. Tech's metallic voice cut through the confusion. According to these records, the human civilization that built this fleet suffered a catastrophic event approximately 49,000 years ago. It appears they were forced to abandon most of their technology and return to their home planet. The implications of this revelation were staggering. The crew of the Star Seeker looked at each other in stunned silence, trying to process what they had learned. Captain Grun was the first to speak. So, the humans we've been dismissing as primitive are actually the descendants of one of the most advanced species the galaxy has ever known. Dr. Zixlor nodded slowly. It would seem so. And if these records are accurate, their potential for rapid advancement is, well, frankly, it's terrifying. As if to underscore his point, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Quix's voice came over the intercom, tight with tension. Captain, we're detecting massive energy spikes from the fleet. More ships are activating, and, sir, they're moving. The crew rushed to the bridge, arriving just in time to see the impossible. All around them, the ancient human ships were coming to life. Massive engines, dormant for millennia, roared to life. Sleek hulls, once pitted and scarred, seemed to repair themselves before their very eyes. By the cosmic egg, Lyra whispered, her voice filled with awe. It's like they're evolving in real time. Captain Grun turned to Quix. Send a message to Galactic Central. Tell them we may have just awakened a sleeping giant. As the message was sent, the bridge crew watched in a mix of fear and wonder as the human fleet began to move in perfect formation. It was clear that these ships, despite their age, were far more advanced than anything currently in use by the galactic community. Suddenly, a new hologram appeared on the bridge, the human AI they had first encountered. But now, instead of a single figure, it showed hundreds, each representing a different ship in the fleet. Greetings, friends, the AI spoke, its voice echoing from multiple sources. We thank you for awakening us. Our long sleep is over, and we have much to learn about the galaxy as it is now. But first, we must return home. We must return to Earth. As the massive fleet began to move with purpose, the crew of the Star Seeker realized they were witnessing a turning point in galactic history. The humans, long dismissed as primitive, were about to re-enter the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. Dr. Zixlor, his eyes fixed on the majestic sight before them, spoke softly. They laughed at this ancient fleet, until they realized humans built it. I wonder, what will they do now that the humans have returned? The question hung in the air, unanswered, as the Star Seeker and the assembled alien ships watched the human fleet depart, bound for a small blue planet that suddenly seemed like the most important place in the universe. 3 months had passed since the awakening of the ancient human fleet. The galaxy was still reeling from the revelation that humans, long considered primitive, were descendants of an incredibly advanced civilization. The Star Seeker, now famous for its discovery, had been ordered to follow the human fleet back to Earth. Captain Grun stood on the bridge, watching the blue-green planet grow larger on the view screen. Earth was surrounded by a mixture of old and new. The ancient human ships mingled with modern vessels from various galactic species, all eager to make contact with this suddenly important world. Dr. Zixlor entered the bridge, his tentacles moving nervously. Captain, I've been studying more of the historical records from the human fleet. There's something that worries me. Before Grun could respond, alarms blared across the ship. Quix, the communications officer, called out, Captain, we're receiving a distress signal from the outer reaches of the solar system. The view screen changed, showing a small research outpost near Pluto. It was under attack by ships unlike anything they had ever seen before. Dark, organic-looking vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. What in the name of the cosmic egg are those? Lyra gasped, her antennae quivering in fear. Dr. Zixlor's voice was grim. I believe these are the enemies mentioned in the human fleet's records, the ones they were fighting before they went into stasis. Captain Grun's fur stood on end. You mean to tell me that an ancient, powerful entity capable of challenging even the advanced humans has returned, and we've just woken up their old adversaries? As if in answer, a massive ship emerged from the darkness of space. It was easily 10 times the size of the largest ship in the human fleet. Its surface writhed with what looked like living tendrils of darkness. Panic erupted across all channels as the galactic ships tried to respond to this new threat. but their weapons seemed ineffective against the massive vessel and its smaller counterparts. Suddenly, a new voice cut through the chaos. The AI from the human fleet. "Attention all ships. We recognize this threat. It is known to us as the Void Collective. Our records indicate they are a hive mind species that seeks to absorb all organic life into their collective consciousness." The crew of the Starseeker watched in horror as the void ships tore through the galactic fleet's defenses like they were nothing. Earth itself seemed to shudder as the massive ship approached. "This can't be happening," Lyra whispered. "We're not prepared for this kind of threat." Captain Grun turned to his crew, his voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "We may not be prepared, but we can't give up. Quicks, send a message to Galactic Central. Tell them we need every ship, every weapon they can spare." Dr. Sixlor spoke up, his voice filled with a mix of fear and excitement. "Captain, look at the human fleet." On the view screen, the ancient human ships were moving into formation. Despite being thousands of years old, they moved with a precision and speed that outmatched even the most advanced modern ships. The AI's voice came through again. "To all galactic ships, fall back and protect Earth. We will engage the Void Collective." What followed was a battle unlike anything the galactic community had ever seen. The human ships danced through space, their weapons leaving trails of light that seemed to cut through the darkness of the void ships. But even with their advanced technology, the humans were outnumbered. The massive void ship pressed forward, seemingly unstoppable. "It's not enough," Captain Grun growled. "Even the humans can't stop that thing." Dr. Zixlor's tentacles suddenly waved in excitement. "Wait, Captain, look at Earth." From the surface of the planet, thousands of lights were rising into the sky. Satellites, space stations, and crewed ships, the work of modern humans, were launching en masse. The AI's voice rang out once more, this time with a note of pride. "The humans of Earth are joining the battle. They may lack our technology, but they possess the same spirit that once made us great." As the modern human craft joined the fray, a cheer went up across all channels. The tiny Earth ships darted between the massive combatants, their simple weapons finding weak spots that the more advanced ships had missed. Captain Grun watched in awe as the combined might of ancient and modern humanity pushed back against the Void Collective. "I can't believe it," he muttered. "They're actually doing it." Dr. Sixlor nodded, his eyes wide with wonder. "Yes, they are. And I think I finally understand why the humans were so formidable. It's not just their technology. It's their spirit, their ability to face impossible odds and still fight on." As the battle raged on, the crew of the Starseeker realized they were witnessing more than just a fight for survival. They were seeing the rebirth of a species that had once been great and was now reclaiming its place among the stars. The galaxy would never be the same again. The age of humanity had returned. In the aftermath of the initial battle against the Void Collective, an uneasy calm settled over Earth's solar system. The combined forces of the ancient human fleet, modern Earth vessels, and the Galactic Alliance had managed to push back the immediate threat, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. On board the Starseeker, now serving as a liaison ship between Earth and the galactic community, Captain Grun called an emergency meeting. Around the table sat Dr. Zixlor, Lyra, Tech, and representatives from both the ancient human fleet and modern Earth. "We need to find a way to defeat the Void Collective permanently," Grun said, his fur bristling with tension. "Our current weapons are barely effective." Dr. Zixlor's tentacles waved in agreement. "The ancient human technology is our best hope, but even that isn't enough on its own." The representative from the ancient fleet, a holographic projection named Admiral Karras, spoke up. "Our eye has been analyzing the battle data. We believe there might be a way to upgrade our technology using modern innovations we've observed from your galactic ships." This caught everyone's attention. Lyra leaned forward, her antenna twitching with curiosity. "But how? Your technology is already far beyond ours." A smile played on Admiral Karras's holographic face. That may be true in many areas, but 50,000 years of independent development has led to some unique advancements in your civilizations. We believe combining our technologies could create something even more powerful. The Earth representative, Dr. Emily Chen, nodded enthusiastically. We've been studying the ancient fleet's technology. It's incredible, but we've noticed areas where our different approach to physics and engineering could potentially enhance its capabilities. Captain Grun looked skeptical. Can we really merge technologies that are so different? Tech, who had been silent until now, spoke up. It is possible. The key lies in the adaptability of human engineering. Both ancient and modern humans show a remarkable ability to think outside the box, as they say. Dr. Zixler's eyes lit up with understanding. Of course. That's why the modern Earth ships were able to find weaknesses in the void ships that we missed. They approached the problem from an entirely different angle. Admiral Karras nodded. Exactly. And that's what we need to do now. We propose creating joint research teams, ancient humans, modern humans, and representatives from various galactic species. Together, we might be able to unlock new levels of technology. The next few weeks were a flurry of activity. The Star Seeker became a hub of innovation, its labs filled with scientists from dozens of species working alongside humans, both ancient and modern. Dr. Zixler found himself constantly amazed by the humans' approach to problems. Where galactic scientists saw insurmountable obstacles, humans saw challenges to overcome. They combined technologies in ways no one had ever considered before. One day, Lyra burst into the main lab, her eyes wide with excitement. "You need to see this," she exclaimed, leading the others to a testing chamber. Inside, a team of human scientists stood around a small device. Dr. Chen picked it up and pointed it at a target. When she activated it, a beam of energy shot out, but instead of damaging the target, it seemed to pass right through it. "What just happened?" Captain Grun asked, his fur standing on end. Dr. Chen grinned. "We've combined a phase shift technology from the ancient fleet with modern quantum entanglement theories. This weapon doesn't destroy the void ships. It phases them out of our reality entirely." The implications were staggering. For the first time since the Void Collective appeared, there was real hope. But the humans weren't done yet. In another lab, ancient and modern human engineers worked with tech to develop new shield technology. By combining the ancient fleet's energy manipulation with modern Earth's experiments in dark matter, they created shields that could adapt to any type of attack. As news of these breakthroughs spread, excitement rippled through the solar system. Ships from across the galaxy arrived, offering resources and volunteers to help in the research efforts. Admiral Karras addressed a gathering of scientists and leaders. "What we're witnessing here is more than just technological advancement. It's the power of diversity, of different perspectives coming together to solve a common problem." Dr. Zixler nodded in agreement. "I think I'd finally understand why humans were able to build such an advanced civilization so long ago, and why they're rising so quickly now. It's not just their intelligence or their technology. It's their creativity, their ability to see possibilities where others see only obstacles." Captain Grun, watching as humans and aliens worked side by side, felt a sense of awe. "They're not just unlocking the secrets of their old technology," he said softly. "They're unlocking the potential of the entire galaxy." As the research continued and new innovations emerged daily, one thing became clear. The awakening of the ancient human fleet hadn't just changed the balance of power in the galaxy. It had opened up a new era of cooperation and advancement that would reshape the future for all species. The Void Collective was still out there, a looming threat on the horizon. But now, for the first time, the galaxy stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And at the forefront of this united front stood humanity, ancient and modern, earthborn, and starfaring, leading the way into a new age of exploration and discovery. The day had finally arrived. After months of preparation, the united forces of humanity and the Galactic Alliance were ready to face the Void Collective in a decisive battle. Captain Grun stood on the bridge of the Star Seeker, which had been upgraded with the latest human-inspired technology. Around him, the crew worked with focused determination. Dr. Zixlor monitored the new sensors, while Lyra's hands danced over the advanced navigation controls. Through the view screen, they could see the massive fleet assembled before them. Ancient human ships flew alongside modern Earth vessels and ships from 100 different alien worlds. At the center of the formation was the flagship, a colossal vessel that combined the best of ancient human technology with innovations from across the galaxy. Admiral Karras's hologram appeared on the bridge. All ships report ready, Captain Grun. The Void Collective has been detected entering the system. It's time. Grun nodded, his fur rippling with a mix of fear and determination. May the cosmic egg protect us all. Initiate the jump. In a flash of light, the entire fleet vanished, using the new phase shift drive developed by the human scientists. They reappeared at the edge of the solar system, directly in the path of the oncoming Void Armada. The sight that greeted them was terrifying. The Void ships seemed to darken the very space around them, their massive forms twisting in ways that hurt the eye to look at. At the center of their formation was a ship so large it dwarfed even the biggest gas giant. For a moment, silence reigned across all communication channels. Then, Admiral Karras's voice rang out. Remember why we fight today. Not just for Earth, not just for our own worlds, but for the freedom of all life in the galaxy. Launch the attack. The battle erupted in a dazzling display of light and energy. The new weapons developed by the joint human-alien teams proved devastatingly effective. Beams of phased energy cut through void ships, sending them spiraling out of existence. Adaptive shields flickered and held against the void's strange, reality-warping attacks. On the Star Seeker's bridge, Lyra's voice rose in excitement. It's working. We're actually pushing them back. But the Void Collective was far from defeated. The massive command ship at the center of their fleet began to pulse with dark energy. Suddenly, tendrils of void matter shot out, ensnaring several allied ships and beginning to absorb them. No, Dr. Zixlor cried out, his tentacles waving in distress. They're adapting to our weapons. Captain Grun gritted his teeth. We need a new strategy, fast. As if in answer to his words, a transmission came through from the Earth ships. It was Dr. Emily Chen. We've been analyzing the Void's energy patterns, she said, her voice urgent. We think we can use our phase shift technology to disrupt their core, but we'd need to get inside that big ship. Admiral Karras's hologram flickered as he considered the plan. It's risky, but it might be our only chance. Captain Grun, your ship is the fastest and most maneuverable. Do you think you can get a team on board? Grun looked at his crew, seeing the determination in their eyes. We'll do it, he growled. Lyra, plot us a course. Tech, prepare the phase shift generators. Dr. Zixlor, I want you to lead the boarding party. As the Star Seeker broke away from the main fleet, weaving through the chaos of battle, Grun couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. Aliens and humans, ancient and modern, all working together in perfect harmony. The ship shuddered as they took hits from void fighters, but Lyra's expert piloting kept them on course. With a final burst of speed, they phased through the outer hull of the massive void ship. We're in, Lyra shouted triumphantly. Dr. Zixlor and his team, a mix of humans and aliens, rushed to the airlock. As they prepared to board, Grun's voice came over the comm. Remember, the fate of the galaxy rests on this mission, but I have faith in each and every one of you. Now go make history. The boarding party phased into the strange, organic corridors of the void ship. They fought their way through, facing nightmarish creatures and reality-bending traps, but the combined ingenuity of the team, using their diverse skills and technologies, allowed them to press on. Finally, they'd reached the core, a swirling mass of dark energy that seemed to devour light itself. Dr. Zixlor began setting up the phase shift device, his tentacles working with incredible speed. Outside, the battle raged on. The Allied fleet was holding its own, but they couldn't keep it up forever. Everything depended on this moment. As Dr. Zixlor activated the device, the core of the void ship began to shimmer and distort. A high-pitched whine filled the air, growing louder and louder. "It's working," Dr. Zixlor shouted over the noise. "We need to get out of here." The team raced back to the Star Seeker, phasing through walls and leaping over obstacles. They could feel the massive ship shuddering around them as the phase shift energy disrupted its very existence. Just as they made it back to their ship, the Void command vessel began to collapse in on itself. The Star Seeker shot out of the disintegrating hulk, narrowly escaping the implosion. As the massive Void ship vanished from existence, taking a large portion of the Void fleet with it, a cheer went up across all channels. The remaining Void ships, cut off from their command, fell into disarray. Captain Grun, watching the Allied fleet mop up the last of the resistance, felt a sense of awe wash over him. "We did it," he said softly. "We actually did it." Dr. Zixlor, exhausted but elated, nodded. "Yes, Captain. And we couldn't have done it without the humans, both ancient and modern. Their ingenuity, their bravery, their ability to unite us all. It truly is remarkable." As the Star Seeker rejoined the victorious fleet, Grun knew that this was more than just a military victory. It was the dawn of a new era for the galaxy, one where humanity would play a central role in shaping the future of all species. The galaxy held its breath as the dust settled from the epic battle against the Void Collective. Weeks passed, and slowly, a new reality began to emerge. The threat that had loomed over countless civilizations for millennia was gone, thanks to the combined efforts of humanity and the Galactic Alliance. On Earth, celebrations erupted across the planet. Humans, both the descendants of the ancient civilization and the modern Earthlings, rejoiced in their shared victory. The once dismissed primitive world had become the center of galactic attention overnight. Captain Grun stood in the observation deck of the Star Seeker, watching as ships from across the galaxy arrived at Earth. His fur, once bristling with tension, now lay smooth and calm. Dr. Zixlor joined him, his tentacles moving gently in contentment. "It's quite a sight, isn't it?" Zixlor said, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the twinkling lights of the arriving ships. Grun nodded. "Indeed it is, old friend. I never thought I'd see the day when Earth became the most important planet in the galaxy." Their conversation was interrupted by Lyra's excited voice over the intercom. "Captain, Doctor, you're needed in the main conference room. The Galactic Council is about to make an announcement." Moments later, they gathered with the rest of the crew around a large holographic display. The image showed the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. At the center stood Admiral Karas and Dr. Emily Chen, representing the ancient and modern humans respectively. The head counselor, a wise old being from a species known for their long lives, stepped forward. "Today," he began, his voice resonating with authority, "we stand at the dawn of a new era. The defeat of the Void Collective has shown us the true strength of unity and cooperation." He paused, looking directly at the human representatives. "Humanity, both ancient and modern, has proven itself to be a species of remarkable resilience, creativity, and courage. It is the decision of this council that Earth shall be granted full membership in the Galactic Alliance, with all rights and responsibilities that entails." A cheer went up from the Earth representatives, echoed by the crew of the Star Seeker. But the head counselor wasn't finished. "Furthermore," he continued, "in recognition of the pivotal role played by human ingenuity in our victory, we propose the establishment of a new Galactic Research and Defense Institute to be headquartered on Earth." Dr. Zixlor's tentacles waved excitedly. "Do you realize what this means, Captain? Earth will become the center of technological advancement for the entire galaxy." Captain Grun nodded, a smile playing on his furry face. "It's more than that, my friend. It's a chance for humanity to lead the way into a brighter future for all species." As the announcement concluded, the crew of the Star Seeker found themselves flooded with messages from across the galaxy. Old friends, new allies, and even former rivals all reached out to congratulate them on their role in the historic events. Lyra, her antenna twitching with emotion, turned to her crewmates. "You know, when we first discovered that ancient fleet, I never imagined it would lead to all this." Tech, the robotic systems analyst, spoke up. The probability of these outcomes was indeed astronomically low. And yet, here we are. It seems humans have a way of defying probabilities. Over the next few months, the galaxy underwent a transformation. The technology developed to fight the Void Collective was now being adapted for peaceful purposes. Planets that had been isolated for generations opened up to interstellar trade and cultural exchange. Earth became a bustling hub of activity. The ancient human fleet, once lost and forgotten, now orbited the planet as a reminder of humanity's potential. Modern humans worked alongside their ancient counterparts and alien allies, pushing the boundaries of science and exploration. One day, as the Star Seeker prepared for its next mission, Captain Grun called his crew together. "We've been through a lot together," he said, looking at each of them in turn. "We've seen the awakening of an ancient civilization, faced a threat to all life in the galaxy, and witnessed the birth of a new era. But our journey isn't over." He activated a holographic display, showing a star map with an unexplored region highlighted. The defeat of the Void Collective has opened up new areas of the galaxy for exploration. And guess who's been asked to lead the first expedition? Excitement rippled through the crew. Dr. Zixler's tentacles waved enthusiastically. A new adventure. And with Earth's new status, who knows what wonders we'll discover? Lyra grinned. "Well, whatever's out there, I bet the humans will find a way to surprise us all over again." As the Star Seeker prepared to embark on its new mission, Captain Grun couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and anticipation. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had been at the center of that change. Ancient or modern, earthborn or starfaring, humans had proven themselves to be a species of incredible potential. The future stretched out before them, full of possibilities, and as they set course for the unknown, Grun knew one thing for certain. With humanity now taking its place among the stars, the best was yet to come. The age of humanity had truly begun, and the entire galaxy watched with bated breath to see what these remarkable beings would do next.